Someone in the comment section is going to say that you can dry mount these things and have it above the water level. That is technically correct. It just doesn't work properly. Hi, it's Lee from the Japanese Water Gardens. Before I go home tonight, I'm going to make a video about these things, dry mounted pumps. Everything you should know about dry mounted pumps. Keep watching. Almost anybody that's had a garden pond is going to be familiar with one of these things. It's a submersible pump. Incredibly easy to use. They generally come with 10 meters of cable and they'll have a protective basket around the pump. Onto that you're going to connect a hose tail, a short section of pipe, and that's going to feed your filtration system with water. There's a really good drawing of what I'm on about on the side of this box set filter. The pump is in the water, the hose is connected to that, the hose runs up to the filter standing at the side, and when the pump's turned on, up goes the water and the filter system overflows and just runs back into your pond through gravity. For most people who are just doing an ornamental garden pond, this is absolutely the simplest and easiest thing that you can possibly install. Pump fed gravity return. Now, most people who build a koi pond are actually going to do it with a bottom drain. A bottom drain is basically like a big plug hole for your pond. It's going in the base of your pond, and there's a big fat pipe attached to that bottom drain which leads out to the side where you're going to have some kind of gravity fed filtration system. The water level in your pond and the filter are the same. The filters are standing at the side of the pond, and when the pond is full of water, the filter will also be full of water. And then the pump actually goes on the back end of that filter system and returns the water to your pond. Gravity fed filter with a pump return. On some designs of gravity fed filter, you might actually see submersible pumps being used to get the water back. But there's a better way, and that is to use a surface mounted pump. A pump that's going to stand at the side of the filter system and literally suck the water out through a pipe and blow it back to your pond. Surface mounted pumps are often more efficient in terms of how much electricity they use, and they'll give you a better flow, particularly if you do a good job of the pipe work. So this is a really good choice if you're looking for a pump that you can dry mount. It's the Evolution Aqua Vari pump. This is the 20,000 model. We'll get it unpacked and take a look at what's included in the box. No surprise here, you get your pump. The 20,000 and the 30,000 look exactly the same. They have a 2-inch threaded inlet and a 2-inch threaded outlet. The 10,000 model uses a 1.5-inch threaded inlet and outlet. In the box, Evolution Aqua do provide you with a couple of adapters. These seem to be for some kind of European pipe, which unfortunately are not really useful. And a pack of seals. Your control panel gives you complete control over the output from the pump. So you can turn the pump right up when you want maximum flow and right down when you really want to save money on the energy costs. Most people have no idea how big a pump they actually need, so this kind of pump gives you complete control over the output. It's designed to be screwed to a post or to a fence, and it's weather resistant. Not waterproof, but weather resistant. It's a shame that Evolution Aqua didn't include a set of these, but they don't, so there you go. These are union couplings. These are 2-inch union couplings that you're going to use to connect your pump to solid pipe. Before you connect them on, you just get some white tape and wrap it around there several times, and then you just wind these on like that, and the white tape will make the seal. Then we're going to need to take a pipe from the outlet of your filter system or your skimmer or whatever it is that you're trying to operate, and connect it into the intake on the pump. One thing to remember is that these pumps are not self-priming pumps, so it's very important that the pump is mounted below the water line. That means that there's always going to be water available flowing straight into the pump. So just to be clear, I don't mean the pump goes in the water, it's just that the water level in the pond is always higher than the pump, or the water level in the filter is always higher than the pump. If you ever want to get the very best out of your pump in terms of performance, this stuff, flexible pipe, is a poor choice. The pump has got a 2-inch inlet and a 2-inch outlet for a reason. It's so that you don't get a lot of friction loss in the system. Look at the inside of it. It's really rough. That restricts the flow of water through it. But worse than that, you connect it to your pump or you connect it to your UV, and you're going to use something like this, a hose tail. Trouble is, it goes right on the inside, so it's actually creating a bottleneck. It's making it more difficult for the water to get through. If you start connecting narrow pipes onto this thing or flexible pipe, you will never ever get the maximum performance out of the pump. Solid pipe, smooth on the inside, and most importantly, the connectors that you use to join it to your pump or to your UV go over the outside of it, so it doesn't cause the bottleneck issue. You can see clearly, look at the difference. 1.5 inch connector, pipe for 38mm, and an 1.5 inch connector for solid pipe. And you're never going to be able to make the real savings, because you'll have the pump running at 100% to get the flow that you want, when in reality, with the right pipe work, you could probably have it running at 50% electric consumption and save money. Another point about friction loss is you're going to find people recommending that you use these swept bends. Technically, swept bends will offer less resistance to a tight knuckle bend, but the problem is they can be expensive. A better solution, if you're experiencing a lot of friction loss, is just to go up to a much bigger size pipe.
Always remember to go bigger.
Bigger is better.
A larger diameter pipe will eliminate the friction loss, and it's likely to be cheaper as well. Someone in the comment section is going to say that you can dry mount these things and have it above the water level. That is technically correct. If you can come up with a means of priming them, and that means getting all the air out of the pipework, then it will run. The problem arises when the power goes off and all of the water just drains back out of it. You'd have to reprime it. Now, years ago, we used to use swimming pool pumps where they would actually have a basket on the front called a priming basket, which you filled with water, and then that helped the pump to actually get going. You also need to install something called a foot valve, and that stops the water running backwards out of the pump when the power is cut. It's a really bad idea. Do not try and mount these things higher than the water in the filter. It just doesn't work properly. It always gives you problems. Here's a little secret that you might not know about these Pondtech pumps. If you take them out the casing, you can actually dry mount them. They have a 1.5 inch BSP inlet and a 1.5 inch BSP outlet. Connect your connectors onto them and off you go. Now, whether the manufacturer actually guarantees them for use dry, I'm not particularly sure about that, but they do work. and a great value for money as well. If you've been watching this video closely, you will have noticed that I didn't get that done in one night. In fact, it's ended up taking me several weeks to get it finished, and I still haven't edited it all together yet. Next week, on the 29th, we're going to be opening up our koi ponds for the first time this year. We've got some absolutely fantastic fish available this year, so I'm really excited about it. I'm going to say goodbye for now from Lee at the Japanese Water Gardens. Please consider subscribing to the channel, leave a comment below, give the video a thumbs up. It's bye for now from Lee.